We're back.
We're back.
It finally happened.
Much to our shock and chagrin,
and also to our dismay, because it dropped the day after we recorded last week's episode.
Hence my 5 minutes of just bullet pointing as many things that filled my brain as possible.
But we're going to talk about it now.
We're going to go a little bit more in depth, as they say.
About what, Preston?
The Spider-Man No Way Home. Get me pictures of Spider-Man.
So the Spider-Man trailer dropped.
It is entitled No Way Home.
And there are a lot of things going on.
Jeremy, how do you feel about the naming convention of the MCU Spider-Man movies?
I hate it. I was fine with it for the first one. Homecoming was a fine subtitle for the first one because it
little wink and a nod.
Yeah, it made sense. There's a homecoming dance in the movie, so it wasn't even that like outlandish outside of the context. But then we kept going. Far From Home, it's like, yeah, I guess he's not in New York anymore. Sure.
Hey, this isn't Kansas, Chief.
And then we got No Way Home, which is just like...
There's no way back to the home he once knew, which is in the arms of Anthony Stark.
I just really hope it stops after this one.
I would think that let's just jump ahead on that note. Big theories. I think the movie is going to end with no one knowing his identity. It's somehow going to get wrapped up in a bow, and it's just going to be him and Stephen Strange. And like, obviously people will still know who Spider-Man is and who Peter Parker is, but they will be... I think it's going to have some One More Day.
Okay, see, that's where we're getting into dangerous territory.
I'm going to say that's not our fault, though. Because there are similarities. There are similarities.
It is definitely drawing from that.
Real quick for the audience, Jeremy, can you tell me a quick synopsis of One More Day, Spider-Man One More Day? Have you read it?
I have not.
Okay.
I've read a Spark Notes. Have you read it?
I have read it.
Okay, then you give us the synopsis.
Essentially, it's Aunt May dies, right?
Yes.
Aunt May dies.
Or gets cancer.
It's when Aunt May dies, it's a Doctor Strange thing. When she's dying, it's a Mephisto thing. So, in One More Day, I think things are bad. There's something bad with Mary Jane. That's a subplot as well. But they are married. Like, this is 30-year-old Peter Parker. Aunt May is dying. He doesn't know what to do. There's probably some other supervillain B plot that happens in the beginning that's either not wrapped up or just got wrapped up. And Spider-Man meets a little girl, and it's really demon hours type things. And the little girl is actually Mephisto, who is the devil, but not really. He's just a version of the devil in the Marvel 616 timeline. Or maybe the whole Marvel universe. I'm not going to split hairs here, comic book things. So we'll just call him Satan or Lucifer or the devil. Or Mephisto. Mephisto. He's a comic book character. But like, picture red dude with horns. Maybe there's a photo up on the screen. Probably not. Anyway, so he's like, Spider-Man, I'll give you one more day. And essentially, he makes a deal with the devil where it's like, hey, I want Aunt May to be alive. And really, One More Day is used as a way to retcon essentially a decade of Spider-Man comics. So him and Mary Jane are no longer in a relationship at all. They were never married.
But that's the like fine print that he doesn't realize.
Right. It's almost like Flashpoint, where he kind of wakes up the next day, and a little bit different, obviously, for vehicle there, but it's that type of vibe.
Yeah, it's I did something that changed one thing that I wanted to change.
It's really way more Peter's fault, I feel like, as far as Peter versus Barry,
100%.
like in those comparisons, because Barry's like it was an accident, like he should have known better, but it was still like. But like, you literally made a deal with the devil. Different than just misusing your superpower.
So one of the leading theories is that Doctor Strange is Mephisto.
Oh, good God!
Have you not seen that one?
No, I've stayed away. from. I'm trying to
everywhere.
Besides hosting a podcast about comic book movie things, I'm trying to stay away as much as I can.
Well,
unless it's official.
Yeah, I haven't been really messing with it much either. But let me show you who posted this theory. we won't say names, but we'll I'll screenshot this post and put it on without any. They just like
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
and
Of course.
it's just like that's such a long line to draw. If you watch this trailer, it is not Stephen Strange's fault that any of this happened.
It's like 20%.
It's not maliciously his fault.
Okay, if a kid shoots himself in the foot with a gun, but the dad gives him a gun.
The dad gave him the gun, then
Yeah.
it's all the dad's fault. I don't think because. So here's the thing that
Okay, hear me out. Dad has a gun.
Doesn't put it in a safe.
Shooting target practice. Kid goes, "Hey," and then he misses and breaks the vase. Whose fault is it for the vase being broken? Like the kid surprises the dad.
Okay,
I feel like this is a better analogy.
You're oversimplifying it.
But no, I'm saying obviously Voss, versus multiverse. It's certainly a different thing. But who would you like if you're the wife in this scenario or the husband? You come home and your Voss is broken. Who are you mad at?
But see, the child wanted the vase broken.
No.
There's more layers.
There's
to this.
more layers. It's a bit more.
And
Okay, sure.
What I really think is
no, it's definitely Peter's fault. I agree with you.
Yeah.
but
No, he's
also
definitely
Wong straight up was like, "Don't do that."
But that I really appreciate that because that's Stephen Strange's character in the comics.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is,
and in the movie, his
we
movie
kinda
at least.
seen
Yeah.
it. He is an arrogant boy who, when people tell him not to do something, they're like, "Hey, you can't do that. Don't do it." He's like,
I mean, it's
can do it.
essentially the first scene we've seen him be himself since the library scene.
"Yeah."
Or another scene in that
Yeah.
movie. But yeah, that's the one that
And
I
so it's
think
like,
of.
Yeah, it's a perfect. Like I think that in everything we see, I think is him being like, "I can do this. Like I'll be able to do it." And maybe he would have had it not been for Peter being like, "No."
Yeah. Yeah, I think really, like a lot of things in big movies, it's something that could have been solved with a conversation before or after the events. In this situation before.
There definitely should have been a conversation where he was like, "Hey, everybody's gonna forget that you're Spider-Man."
Also, I don't know why Peter's that like vexed about it because it's like he can just tell him again. Like, I guess I understand that theoretically then everything in the second half of No Way Home, Far From Home. See, the only problem I have with the name, I don't mind the home. The fact that No Way and Far From is so similar.
Yeah.
Like they needed another jointed word like homecoming or like a longer sentence.
Yeah, it's the 3-word.
Or if
ending with
homecoming
home.
was the second one and there was like, some distance.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that confuses me is my brain is puny and does not understand.
But really, what I think the purpose of that whole him be like, "No, I don't want her to remember me." They tried to emphasize at the start where he's like, "I wanted to tell you. I couldn't tell you I was Spider-Man at first. I wanted to though." Like,
right.
And that's where my I won't dwell on this because we're excited for this movie. My problem with the MCU's Spider-Man is that he whines about everything.
Have you read a Spider-Man comic though? We don't need to get into the weeds, but I will just say that is Spider-Man is a very woe is me character. Most of on his own time,
especially when he's high schooler. So like that's fair.
Or just anytime he's like lonely, which is most time. Like he goes like a couple years of good and then or maybe months, we'll say a couple months off and on of like being happy or just depressed. Which fair enough. He kind of has a rough shake of it a lot of the times, especially compared to a lot of the other Marvel characters. Anywho, that all being said, I do think it'll be a one more day type scenario, but that instead of that being the plot, that's the cliffhanger. He's by himself and he's like, well, rats.
Yeah.
But then that's going to what I hope and am thinking / theorizing initiates a time jump for the next movie. So
I mean, it better.
Hear me out. End of the movie gets resolved. Everything happens in the middle. Doesn't matter how. End of the movie, he's like, "All right, Doctor Strange, we did that. Like, let's just do it. Like, I learned my lesson." And then he does it. Bam, whatever. Spell works right. And then he's like, "Well, this is a bummer, but my life is easier this way, and I can just be friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." And then he says hi to Gwen in the hallway, and she was like, hi? And just kind of like, it acts like she did at the beginning of Homecoming, just kind of like weird and aloof.
You mean MJ?
What did I say?
You said Gwen.
But okay,
And I thought you were leading somewhere else with that, and I was excited.
Well, so I am leading there, so that's my brain getting ahead of itself. So MJ just kind of like treats him like, yeah, friend, acquaintance, whatever. And then he just kind of goes, and then cut to black. We get yada yada, we get some post-credits, yada yada. Next Spider-Man movie comes out 4 years later.
College.
Junior in college, sophomore in college, maybe senior in college, I don't care. You know, stretch it out. Best friends with Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn.
See, I'm not against... The one thing I'm against about that happening is it would be 2028 if we time jump.
Damn it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's... We need to catch up.
We need to catch... Well, I mean, we can't catch up.
We can, though.
Yeah, I guess because and also Shang-Chi theoretically runs along the same timeline as this. Maybe Multiverse of Madness will fix this.
Maybe. I mean, at least slow it down a little bit. If in Multiverse of Madness it's still taking place in 2023, we will be close.
Yeah. And then let's say it'll be another 2 years for a Spider-Man movie. And maybe they, do an extra year of gap just because they're doing a bunch of other Sony movies as well as a bunch of other MCU movies. So let's say we don't get a Spider-Man 4 starring Tom Holland until 2025 or 6.
And then it's only 2 years ahead if we do full time jump. Which
maybe we just do a smaller time jump.
Which,
sophomore in college.
Yeah, I'm not against that.
I also, don't mind, the timeline being that far ahead. It's kind of frustrating when you think about it, but everything else is so clean. About the MCU timeline, it's not a huge deal to me. At least as far as understanding it is simple, just as long as you don't look at it too hard.
Yeah, for sure. There is a rumor that went around a while ago. I completely shrugged off. Uncredible source, so it's take it with the biggest grain of salt. That they were using this movie, the way it ends, which is going to be similar to what you just described, to recast.
Assumedly.
Not recast Zendaya, but to make them not dating and introduce an actual Mary Jane.
You said that's a theory?
It was a rumor.
Right. I think that rumor is probably true, but it's more likely a Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense.
No, you can't backpedal like that.
No, it's just weird then. Because it's like, it would be like, dating two people right after another with the same name. That'd be super just weird of Peter.
And that is just such a, because it was very clear at the end of Homecoming and start of Far From Home that they didn't want to upset the racist fans. You got to, looking at it flat, we can't go full send into it because people are going to be pissed at us. So if this is a character that is MJ, but not MJ, then we can get around it. Which is just upsetting for the actual fans who don't care about the color of a character's skin.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird too because they could have just given her red hair and called her Mary. Because I think that that's the excuse is she doesn't have red hair so she can't be MJ, but it's really she's not white and with red hair. Yeah. So, but I think you could Zendaya is gonna look good with any hair color. Have you seen
those Boss Logic edits of hers with red hair?
Probably not off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean I follow him,
it's a good look.
No, I think it works, especially.
You could shave Zendaya's head and she'd look great.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you can pick a hairstyle, whatever, hair color doesn't matter. That being said, I feel like if they're gonna be done using Zendaya, they've burned Mary Jane. Yeah, unless she comes back, unless that specific character comes back. So you can either do Gwen Stacy, which makes most sense, especially if it's college Peter, or Betty Brant. Or is Betty Brant already in it? Is she the newscaster girl? Or is that a different name?
That's a different name.
Okay, because Betty Brant's Daily Planet, right?
Yes, let me check.
Daily Bugle.
I want to say her name, but I cannot remember it for the life of me.
I would just like to say I said Daily Planet. Yes, I understand that is a Superman newspaper. I meant Daily Bugle. Freudian slip. I apologize. I watched Man of Tomorrow today.
Oh, how was that? It's one of the few that I haven't watched.
It was okay. I think it would have been a good story if it wasn't an origin story.
Yeah, because it's like a reboot, right?
It's a reboot, and it would have worked if they picked Elaine.
That's always the worst.
Because it had an interesting plot with the villain, and it had an okay origin plot.
She is Betty Brant.
Okay, so she is.
You were correct.
So
it's not going to be Betty.
No, so if they include her in the future, she'll be the same that she was in the Raimi movies, where it's like a wink and a nod, hey, she works here type of thing. Essentially what she already is, which is an Easter egg. Doc Ock.
That also realized saw Doc Ock, but somebody forgot to space it, and I read it Ducock. So that's the thing.
I do cock. So true.
So we are building a multiversal Sinister Six. So let's name off who we know.
Okay, well, so
Who
the only people we know for sure is Doc Ock and Green Goblin. Those are the only two that are fully locked and loaded.
And Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is confirmed for this movie.
In what way?
He was announced as casting, and he posted about it, and then it was told to delete the post about it.
Okay, that's fair.
He's not-
I just meant based off the trailer.
No, yeah, in the trailer, but like
There's allusions that you can say that the trailer confirms it, but the trailer does not confirm that he is in it.
I think we should say those three though are safe to say. So we have 2 from Toby's universe, 1 from Andrew's universe.
I think we have 3 from Toby's. I mean, let's get into speculation.
So now we're gonna dive into speculation.
And
Sandman is very clearly there.
Sandman's there, and I think all of these options were mentioned in my quick little 5 minutes on last episode, but we'll go more. So Sandman is just there's lots
so
of
much
dust,
sand.
so much sand, dust, whatever
And
you want to
also,
call it.
Have you seen the people lightning it, and it looks like human form in that? Like it's a big sand monster as opposed to just sand.
I think so. And there's the one where Peter's ducking behind the boulder, but it also could just be like earthbending sand. And then the yellow lightning, which Electro, pretty dank. First, really live action anything that's gotten yellow lightning besides the Flash TV show, and he didn't even get yellow. It's like a weird orange. So that's cool.
Yeah, and there is a leaked photo that is not confirmed. I don't know how it would have leaked, but there are 3 leaked photos.
It's Doc Ock with the blue backpack, pre-CG. Yeah, I saw those 3.
So I'm not sure where those came from, but that's Jamie Foxx as Jamie Foxx, not blue. So we're actually going to get a cool Electro.
I mean, there was no way they do the blue Electro again.
No,
there's no way. Maybe they make a joke about it, but there's no way they do that.
I'll give Andrew a quip about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
maybe they even say that Jamie Foxx is from Toby's universe.
Interesting.
And then Andrew has like a little, oh yeah, I had one of them. But they'll probably make it Andrew's.
Yeah. So those are 4. That's 4 that I think are safe to assume are happening.
2 hard lock, 2 one pretty much locked, and then 1 safe to assume.
And then the 5th one that is alluded to in the trailers that everybody's saying is the lizard talk.
Lizard could be Venom.
I don't think it's Venom.
It's probably the lizard.
I think it's safe to say it's lizard, but it could also be something completely out of left field.
It could be Mysterio. Could be like a monster like tricking Mysterio. Also, there's a lot of people saying that a lot of shots that we see of Tom Holland could actually be any of the other Spider-Man.
I strongly believe, I am 100% in the camp that Doc Ock is talking to Toby.
So I'm with you there, but do you think that shot of Tom Holland putting on the Iron Spider-Man suit is okay?
No.
Because there was a TikTok, I believe, either you sent to me or I sent to you, where he's saying that suit is the same suit he was wearing in Spider-Man 3.
Which is a fair comparison.
Fair comparison, but I don't think we're getting Spider-Man 3 Toby. I think we're getting an aged up Toby. There's no reason to de-age him like that. Like, that's a waste of time and money.
And then he suits up into the Iron Spider suit.
I mean, that's probably easy.
But, it just feels like it's...
Yeah.
Why I think that's just a completely different shot that they just...
No, I think it's a completely different shot because it also doesn't really work for the rule of thirds.
No. Oh, interesting. So you think it's cropped in?
Filmmaking.
So you think it's cropped in?
No, I just think it's...
Oh, the way he's looking.
It just the eye lines don't match. At least, I mean, that's all trailers. It's never it's never a full scene, so...
But no, I think it's very... Because, Doc Ock saying, hello, Peter, to this kid, sure, could be ooh, shock and awe, but I don't think that's it. It feels like a more good to see you again type.
And I think there's potential. So initially I thought that this was going to be they're going into different universes or different universes are open to them. I think everything got merged.
As I say, it seems like everything folded in on itself. So
I think because of that spell, the Spider-Man villains don't know who Peter is anymore. So we could also be getting Vulture again. So that's because that memory could have been deleted.
That's where I wanted to get to. So we have 5 that we think are we've talked about 5
non-MCU villains that have multiversally compressed into this.
So there's 2 different ways this can go. We can go this full Sinister Six is not from the MCU, and we could get Rhino. as the sixth.
We-
Paul Giamatti comes
Right.
back as Rhino.
Or Venom, or
I don't think we'll get New Goblin,
We
which
wouldn't
has
get-
been talked, especially just because of a certain actor's, current standing in Hollywood right
well,
now.
there are 2 New Goblins. So,
Well, yeah,
but we don't like this. We don't like either of them.
no,
Because both of their designs was garbage.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
we didn't need to get into that.
So, I think we're either getting. I think Rhino is the safest. If it's a character from one of those universes, I think it's Rhino. But I think it's going to be an MCU character.
I think it'll be Mysterio.
I think it'll be Mysterio. I could see it being Vulture.
Yeah.
There are theories that I don't believe.
I mean, all of these characters have been in the Sinister Six.
Yeah,
So the Sinister Six is like a rotation like the Avengers.
Yeah.
So it's
it's a Suicide Squad.
no,
of sorts.
It's not anything like that.
I think it's a bad theory, but people think that Ned will become Hobgoblin
In this movie,
in this movie, and he'll be the last member of the Sinister Six.
it's a terrible theory. I
It's
think
too
Ned.
much.
I think Ned can still become Hobgoblin, but by like movie 5 or 6, like
Yeah.
he's got some time.
Well, did
we
you-
haven't even gotten Goblin. Like,
Did you see how much weight he lost?
yeah.
People are like, "Oh, so he's got to be doing stunts."
no, I
Thank
think.
God, or
I-
he just wanted to lose weight.
I think he's on. No, I think he is on the journey to be Hobgoblin,
yeah.
but I don't think he's.
I could see it set up in this movie.
Sure, especially if he gets his memory wiped of everything and then finds out on his own, however, and then becomes
Yep.
spiteful, whatever.
Yeah, something happens, and Spider-Man can't save him in this movie, so maybe he gets injured,
Yeah.
and then it's a classic guy in wheelchair in Batman versus Superman.
Scoot McNairy.
Yeah.
Great point. Good call out.
So yeah, no, there's a lot. I do think we will. I think it'll be Vulture or Mysterio or Scorpion. I think Scorpion is possible.
That's what I was gonna say as well. I think whichever ones we don't get that are MCU villains will either they'll get a shot of like a reaction shot in like something,
Yeah.
whether something's on the news at the beginning or at the end, or they will be included in a post-credit scene, i.e. Michael Keaton for Morbius.
What I could see happening is that this movie say that it's Rhino, so it's an entire
Okay.
opposite cast. Of
Multiverse
characters.
Sinister Six.
We see Vulture and Scorpion seeing all these guys team up. They're like, "Woohoo!"
I like that.
And because I don't want, what I really am afraid of is I don't want Sam Raimi's Green Goblin inspiring Norman Osborn from the MCU. That's not something that I think is a good path for the characters.
No.
But the concept of a villain team up,
Being an inspiration.
that could, like Vulture being like, "Oh, let's do it," and then it's completely different characters.
Or what if, in this situation, the villain's downfall is them not working together, and then Michael Keaton goes, 6 guys that powerful, they could have taken. They should have been able to squash the bug if they worked together, talking to Scorpion and maybe someone else in
And
prison.
Paul Giamatti, but with a different haircut.
Hey, I'm the Rhino. Or what is he? He's Russian in
Yeah,
that.
he was Russian.
The Spider-Man.
I will crush the Spider-Man.
I want my bird. I want it. I want to suck your dick.
I will say though, as much as this character was disgusting, Dane DeHaan coming back as New Goblin
No.
wouldn't be against it.
I'm strongly against it.
Because what it seems like they're doing is it seems like we're respecting the past with the Raimi characters, but it seems like we are correcting the past with the Amazing Spider-Man characters.
There'll probably be a little bit of correction because we haven't seen Green Goblin yet. I don't think he's going to be in the
'cause,
same costume.
Kevin Feige had talked about like multiple years ago how much he disliked the way that Green Goblin was not comic accurate.
Yo, you think we get the animatronic one? Have you ever seen those clips?
Maybe.
That'd be crazy. Obviously, it would be animatronics fueled by CG.
Yeah.
Or CG fueled by animatronics, but still.
I would rather a mix of, I don't even know how to describe it, but I think we got to go some sort of mech, like
Yeah.
the original, but it's got to be
Well,
green
the
and
original isn't mech. It's just
Yeah.
a stunt. It's a motorcycle suit.
purple. I think like some sort of like even Iron Man-esque suit.
I think it needs to be the Iron Man 2 suitcase suit, but green and purple.
Yeah.
And with a different helmet, obviously.
yeah, and then a helmet, and I would be completely fine if the helmet was more like back head support, and we still saw his face. But yeah, I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's gonna figure it out, it's the costume designers in the MCU. Like, they've obviously done this with so many characters, so I think
I just hope
we'll get a blend.
I'll be angry, and emphasis on angry, if it's an Iron Man helmet with a point.
Oh, no, they couldn't. There's already no. I was gonna say Red Hood already stole the Iron Man helmet, so they couldn't give it to another character as well. But cut that. No, I think they'll make it work. I think it's also possible, maybe taking some inspiration from Dane DeHaan. It's just his face with like the neck going up and like locked in or something, or maybe so the leaked image of William Dafoe is just his face.
It's just him.
It's just a close up.
It looks like it's Norman Osborn, not Green Goblin.
So maybe he turns green and we get a CG Hulk type face.
Would be completely fine with it.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
I don't want it to go. Is it Ultimate Spider-Man that he is like a Hulk size? I don't want that.
I like that, but not for this.
Exactly. I like that in the context of where it exists.
I think,
and I was fine with it in Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But I just don't think that. Like, I think that's.
It doesn't work for a character that we've already known as a different type of Green Goblin. I think if they were to say maybe continue the Andrew Garfield movies in his universe, once all of these villains get pushed back in, if that universe's Spider-Man or Green Goblin is the hulking demon hobgoblin thing, or if they all get pushed away and then the MCU Green Goblin, but if the MCU Green Goblin's origin, they could tie it to some Hulk Gamma type things. So I don't know. I like that version just because he's so much more dangerous, because he does end up learning how to control it in like a Hulk type manner. So it's
he becomes full on like
he's just dangerous. I mean, he looks like the Hulk, but he more of like a goblin-y face, and he has fire powers. Like he can essentially firebend and breathe fire,
which is not good.
He is scary as hell in the Ultimate Spider-Man run. Like he blows up their school. Just straight up, crazy. So, do we get Spider-Gwen with Emma Stone?
I don't think so. I think she was pregnant when they were filming. Like, very pregnant when they were filming.
Whose baby?
Her husband's.
Good point.
Who is not Andrew Garfield, and that just might be a little bit of salt on the wound for poor guy.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I didn't know she was married or pregnant.
She's not pregnant anymore.
She is with child.
So there's a lot that could happen, and we're diving very deep into the pool of speculation.
What if, you might say?
So Charlie Cox.
Oh, he's in it.
Do you think that was him, though?
I don't care if that was him. He's in it.
He's 100% in it.
Because even if that character, that, sleeve and shirt, which he slams onto desks like that in every scene in Murdoch and Foghorn or whatever.
And I saw people saying it was just the cops that were interrogating him earlier. They're wearing completely different outfits. That is, whoever it is, it's his lawyer.
It's one, even if it's not his lawyer, but it's someone else bringing in that. The fact that he's dealing with legal things means he's going to be in court.
He's got his classic sleeves rolled up. It's a white shirt with a tie, and he's just like.
And he's saying "I'm blind" really loudly in the background.
That's why they added this. They made this slam so loud, so you couldn't hear that.
Right.
But there were photos from wherever they were filming. There was this photo of two actresses.
London.
Was it when were they in London?
They were in for a certain amount of time.
Wherever they were. Kristen Dunst and Deborah Ann Wool.
Paparazzi photos of Mary Jane from the Raimi movies and Deborah
Karen Page from
Netflix Daredevil.
So, and then Deborah Ann Wool decided to say that those weren't pictures of her. That was the route she took. They were very clearly pictures of her.
Could just say nothing.
Yeah. Could be like, I was going to lunch. Like, just weird.
Or just say nothing. Just don't even respond to such alleged rumors.
And so, like, just strange. But could be getting more cameos on that front. Do you think, so in that world where we are bringing characters from these universes, do you think Jared Leto will show up?
God, no. I think Jared Leto might be in this universe as Morbius, but I don't think we see him on screen until he gets his own movie 3 years from now, whenever he gets pushed back.
You hear those rumors?
No.
So the rumor that Venom 2 is getting pushed back, if it gets pushed back, it will land on Morbius' current release date, which means Morbius will also just get delayed.
That's so funny.
So we'll see.
Oh my goodness. So Venom hasn't officially been pushed back?
Officially been pushed back, and I've seen rumors suggesting both that it's staying and that it's moving.
So it's still like October 15th or something?
As of right now, it's mid-October. But if it gets pushed back, it'll be January, which would be Morbius' release date, which is hilarious.
That's so funny.
But yeah, there's a lot going on in this trailer, and I'm so much more excited to see the cameos and the characters that get pulled through the other universes than anything else. Like the first minute, I was like, yeah, this is what I expected of this trailer. And then we go through and it's like, okay, multiverse is opening. These trains are forming.
And don't forget, even before the multiverse opens, we get Matt Murdock.
Yeah, exactly. That's what...
so there will be big tings before the bigger tings. Before the meat.
I think this is the perfect way to introduce Matt Murdock into the MCU. Is him being a lawyer, him being in this movie for probably the first 45 minutes at the very most, and then he's just gone. And we're done with him for now. But then we get She-Hulk next year, and then we just slowly build till we get more Daredevil content.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. Because him being Daredevil in this movie is too much.
Uh-huh. Oh,
that's
absolutely.
too much. There's not enough room. There's 3 Spider-Men. We don't have room for 1 Daredevil.
I am so excited for Andrew Garfield to get a chance to have good writing.
Now, do you think there's been people not really speculating, but hoping that he gets another run at his own franchise and that he takes over the Sony Venomverse, Morbius?
He'd beat Tom Hardy's Spider-Man.
Right. And then Tom Holland is just protected and safe and under the seal of the MCU.
I would be so happy with that. I don't know if I don't have any information on the logistics of the possibility of it happening. There's nothing about that. That's
Danny
all,
just theorized that the other day. That's all it is.
Theories, and so we can't I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket. But if that were to happen, I think it's such a win for both sets of properties because then this universe that they're building of Spider-Man villains will actually have a Spider-Man, and then we won't have to worry about the MCU having to cross over with that universe of Spider-Man villains.
And then Andrew Garfield gets a Mary Jane, and Tom Holland can focus on Gwen Stacy.
Exactly. They can take it different. And I think now that we've had all of this, we had we had 2 Flashes at that time. I think DC specifically has been overlapping actors a little bit because they have way more timelines running than Marvel does.
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of proved the public knowledge that's oh no, if it's a different actor,
you can still understand it.
It's not going to be connected. The old people that go see it will be like, "Where's Iron Man?"
Right.
But that's not that'll be a minority of the audience.
Yeah.
I would love it so much just because we would get, and even if it's not connected to the Amazing Spider-Man universe at all, I'd still be fine with it.
Yeah. It's its own thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that'd be a great place to take it and a good way to separate church and state for Sony Marvel characters. I also have heard one illegitimate rumor about Sam Raimi wanting to do a Spider-Man 4 with Tobis Maguire, which, I would not be mad.
I've seen some really funny jokes that just say, you buy your tickets to go see Doctor Strange 2, you sit down and Spider-Man 4 starts playing.
That would be so wild. So wild.
So we're going to wrap up with a current rumor that is going around right now. Daniel RPK stated it. So again, not the most credible, but more credible than
plausibly credible.
Yeah, more credible than the hashtag show or stuff like that.
Or just people on Reddit. Yeah.
So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, there will be a scene that rivals the Thanos fight in Infinity War where they're trying to get the gauntlet off of him and Star-Lord messes up, and Wanda will be the big figure and Fox X-Men characters will be the ones fighting her.
Yo, what?
And that it also leads to a second rumor that Charles Xavier will be a character in this movie, which is less credible because it's not from him. That's one that's just going around. And there will be a multiversal Illuminati that tries to stop her from doing whatever she's doing. So I don't know if Doctor Strange is part of that group,
Or if he gets indoctrinated into it.
or if he's against them, or if he's like, no, you guys like what? Like,
yeah,
there's so
it's
many
almost
routes
like it's like it's like the timekeepers in Loki, where he's kind of like, yo, come on, let's bust this up.
But also like if it's like just the best minds from the multiverse, and
dude,
he's
what
included
if one of them's Kang?
Yeah,
it could be like Kang, Charles Xavier, a different version of Stephen Strange, and a different version of Iron Man. I mean, honestly, you don't even have to have Iron Man.
No.
Like he really doesn't.
Reed Richards. So there's a lot going on in those rumors,
dude. I mean, I'm completely fine forgetting the X-Men, the Fox X-Men, leave them in the past, burn it if you have to, but that would be cool just for a fight scene. That would be who do you think they get? So if we're comparing it to that Thanos scene, let's say you get 6 people, because that's the Guardians, Spider-Man, Strange,
Iron Man.
Okay, so let's say you get 6 Fox X-Men characters.
I think Jean and Cyclops are without a doubt.
Yep.
Beast probably. I think that's a safe bet.
Sure.
Because I am going off of, and this is a hard one. Are we talking the First Class group, or are we talking the original trilogy?
I think we're talking the Days of Future Past mix.
Okay, so
either.
So probably those 3, maybe Iceman. Because I'm also just trying to think of what's visually interesting. Probably Quicksilver.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Quicksilver without a doubt, especially since we've already got him, that actor, in WandaVision.
And people were pissed that he was just a boner joke. So
I was so happy he was just a boner joke.
So very.
Yo, what'd be so funny is if he shows up as Quicksilver and she goes, Ralph Boner? That would be pretty funny.
And then maybe Charles even. Magneto would be dope.
Dude. Okay. Here's my lineup.
Yeah, give it to me.
Magneto, Charles, whether it's Patrick Stewart or James McAvoy, that guy. So those 2, Quicksilver, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Wolverine. I don't think we will, but that's who I'm tossing in the ring.
But
what if we get a Deadpool instead of Wolverine? That would be too much.
I don't think it fits in the scene.
It doesn't fit.
Because we're getting Deadpool. He's not a Fox versus X-Men.
The tone wouldn't fit.
But yeah, I could see those, except Wolverine. I think Wolverine is too much of a pipe dream, and I won't, as much as I want it, won't let myself even think about it, because it would have to be Hugh Jackman. It would have to be, well, especially no matter what Fox cast you're using, it still has to be Hugh Jackman. Yeah. So, and also Hugh Jackman's at the point where he had his Logan send off. He's old. He said multiple times that he won't, like in the last 2 months. Yeah. I mean, since Logan, he's been like, no, I'm done. Yeah. Consistently. And I think Patrick Stewart has been as well, so it would probably be James McAvoy, which I'm fine with. Yeah, because then we get the superior Magneto as well. That's a hot take. Oh, I mean, I agree with it. Michael Fassbender, so much more interesting. I'm not even comparing their acting skills or anything. I just think those characters and the movies that they got. They were able to delve into a Magneto that wasn't just evil mastermind. He pretty much got an origin story. Yeah. Whereas the other Magneto was pretty much just mustache twirling, like, I hate humans. And it's like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, dude. Sure. Whereas with Fassbender, we actually saw why he hated humans. Like, oh, yeah. Resonated a lot more. Just kill them all. Yeah. But yeah, so that's a possibility. That would be wild. Multiverse of Madness. If that's mad. The case, that's fucking mad, bro. It's gonna be the exact same as this Spider-Man movie, where it's but more madness. But yeah, it's gonna be absolute chaos, especially because all of them. And we're gonna get the what if characters as well. Yeah. In addition. That's crazy, dude. When does March for Multiverse of Madness? Yeah, we got Batman and Multiverse of Madness in the same month, which worries me a little bit about Batman's box office. Yeah. Just because of the MCU rabid fan base. I think there'll be a big enough Venn diagram, and DC has an equally rabid and toxic fan base. So it's true, but the scary part is a lot of those guys aren't wanting to see the Batman because it's not Batfleck. I hate Zack Snyder.